Welcome back, guys. Welcome to week 9. Today, in this magnificent surrounding, Mother Nature gifted us with some wind. So please bear with me, but it will give me the opportunity to introduce you to a beautiful technique that I use every day a number of times. You remember times ago I told you that the easiest way not to go to the memorized set of behavior is not to go unconscious. Not to go unconscious means to stay on purpose, means to stay present in the moment, which nothing else means to be intentional. Now, this wind is giving me this opportunity because I love, especially outside in nature, to take a moment to appreciate the wind through my skin, the feeling of the wind, the sound of the wind through the leaves. And when you are present, when you are in the moment, you don't go unconscious. If I don't go unconscious, I don't allow my mind to take me through this memorized set of behavior. This week, I want to bring you an interesting question. A question that was firstly posed by the 2,500 years old Greek philosopher. His name is Socrates. And he was the teacher of Plato. And today, modern psychology speaks about the Socratic question. I think there are 21. A way that Socrates had to rationalize people's behavior and beliefs. I'll bring it down to one very simple question. Is it fact, feeling, or a thought? Now, what is a fact? A fact is nothing else than an assumption that we make. Because, like A Course in Miracles says, true reality is the essence of perception. Since us, as a human being, we cannot have a reality without perception, we'll call it an assumption. Now, I want to go in the specific of it. You can say, well, a car is a fact. A car is a fact. A car is an agglomerate of steels with four wheels that goes up and down the road. That's a fact. However, what the car means to you and what the car means to you are two different things. And therefore, it is an assumption. Because for you, the car may mean freedom, where for me, the car generally means problems. So, a fact, we'll call it an assumption. Is it a thought? A thought is nothing else than an elaboration of your rational mind or the suffering of the elaboration of the rational mind. Because when you go in a state of anxiety, panic, right, there isn't really your ability to consciously govern what your brain thinks, and therefore you generally suffer. What is the feeling? We know now as somatic expression. Now, how is this important in nowadays behavior? The last time we spoke about the grudges and how we bring, our payoff and how we bring our the response to how we feel. Now, I want you to think about this. Let's take the very same topic, the very same example that you took last week, elaborate them slightly different. Because this will be the foundation for the next 3 weeks, where we're going to go really in depth. Imagine how our mind, brain, elaborate and overthink something that for us is true. And from that sparks a feeling. let's make an example. You probably know that I am disabled, that I live my life bound to a wheelchair. And let's assume that years ago when I was married, I wanted to go on a date. And let's assume I go out on a date, and the first time a lady says, look, you're a cool guy, but I'm sorry, your physical condition, prevent us to have any future. Then I go to a second one, and she tells me exactly the same. Now, I have created in my mind something that is true. I have created in my mind the fog of belief that due to my physical condition, although I may not be unlovable, I certainly will never be good enough to have a relation. Now, that's a fact that I believe. And then on the other side, I have a thought. Now, all of a sudden, this thought starts spiraling out of control and starts elaborating today, bringing me to tomorrow, and the potential that I'll be alone forever, for the rest of my life, because of my physical condition. That will lead me down a state of panic and abandonment. Now, all of this started upon an assumption that my mind has elaborated, an assumption that I've taken as a fact, that my mind escalated to the worst case scenario, to the dramatic worst case scenario, that at the end has brought me down to a terrible feeling that led me down the road of abandonment once again. But it all started with a lie. Now, why do I say this? Because unfortunately, this is the origin of our personal misfortune. This is how we think. This is how we allow our mind to frustrate our feelings and to affect our reaction. And because of that reaction, we further on the moral sexual behavior. Now, there is a truth behind our behavior, is that we are dramatic. Whether we are dramatic in our expression, whether we are dramatic externally, whether we are dramatic inside, we need to accept that as part of who we are. Because the moment that we accept that being part of who we are is no longer an unknown external factor, but we get to know it, and we also get to limit it. Because if it has always been dramatic, maybe it's not as dramatic as I thought it would ever be. And therefore, I'm able to control it. Now, all this information that I gave you from week 7, 8, and 9 are going to construct the castle for week 10, 11, and 12. And I gave you all the tools to start examining part of the little bit unconscious bits that form part of your automatic response, your automatic set of behavior. From next week, you are going to be able to unpack it. I want you to take a piece of paper for this week, and I want you to use the trilogy of the Socratic question. Is it a fact, a feeling, or a thought? And see how they interlink with each other. And they are the memorized set of reactions in our daily life. Thank you very much, guys, once again, from this beautiful surrounding and this amazing Mother Nature wing. I'm looking forward to see you next time.